I, like many heteronormative people, have often considered monogamy as the only way to do relationships. Everything else was simply lustful or just too greedy.
What?
And now that I'm a little bit more grown, a lot more open-minded, and very curious, I have to say that polyamory might actually be that girl. Ooh. Hello, honeys. I'm Anna Marie. This is AM to PM, your guide to living a sexy life. And today we're talking about non-monogamy and why it seems to be everywhere right now. Do you remember when Jada Pinkett Smith was in the entanglement with August Alsina?
And then I got into an entanglement with August. That's what I said.
An entanglement?
Yes. Yes.
Which is actually crazy to me. To this day, August Alsina, Jada Pinkett Smith, don't make sense. But hey, her choice. I don't know her life. That is because Jada and Will, allegedly, have been practicing ethical non-monogamy for many years. Also, one of my favorites on the internet, Bob the Drag Queen, often talks about having his primary partner while also exploring other partners. Even Kalani has spoken about identifying as poly in the past. But then you have people like Nick Cannon, who doesn't identify as poly, but has famously had multiple women pregnant with his children at the same time. Who am I to judge? So what does all of this mean? What does this even mean? In today's episode, we are diving into the world of non-monogamy. I'll answer your saucy confessions, and I'll share a little bit of my own tea about my experience on the dating app field and how it's completely changed the way that I view relationships. Let's get stuck in, shall we? Class is in session. All right, class, pens out. We need to get our vocabulary together because it is very easy to use these words interchangeably, but they do not mean the same thing. So let's start with ENM, ethical non-monogamy. This is like the big, gorgeous, the grand umbrella term for any romantic or sexual relationship that is not exclusively monogamous and is built on consent and honesty. Now, underneath that, we have different branches. So we've got polyamory. That's the big sis. It's about multiple loves, being committed to multiple people at once. It typically involves deep emotional bonds, romantic intimacy, and often long-term commitment with more than one person. So it's not just about cracking. It's not just about getting your back cracked. It's about involving your heart. It's about emotional connection. It's quite multi-layered, very deep. And then on another branch, you might find swinging. So you've probably heard the term swinging about that middle-aged couple that lives down the road. They're swingers, the pineapple crew. This is more of a social sport. This is usually committed couple or married couple who decides to play with others. This is mostly just for physical and intimate relations. Then we have polygamy and polyandry. Now, this is where it gets a little bit technical. So in some cultures, polygamy is okay. And that is usually where one man has multiple wives. And then polyandry, on the reverse, is where one woman has multiple husbands. And I love the sound of that. If you see me pull up with 3 husbands when I'm 50, don't ask me no questions. And then on another branch, we might have solo poly. This is for like the independent girls, the independent queens. So where you are your own primary partner, but you can date multiple people who might be married, people who might be single. Like there is no committed tie to anyone. It's just you doing your own thing. It's your own vibes and autonomy. Sound good? Good. Now, why is non-monogamy so taboo? Like when you go to the family barbecue and auntie's telling you when you're gonna settle down, when you're gonna have baby, and you're talking about, well, I'm open right now, I'm dating multiple people, she's about to have a heart attack. Why do people lose their mind over that? When her husband, Uncle Roderick, was humping everyone down the street for the last 25 years. She thought you didn't know. Everybody knows he's got 2 kids by that lady. And that's none of my business. I digress. But it seems to be something that the older generation keep hush hush, even though people have been doing it since the beginning of time. Do we think humans are traditionally monogamous? I don't know. Everybody has their own take on it. Monogamy has never been about finding true love. It was about property. Historically, monogamy was a way to make sure that a man's assets stayed in the bloodline. He had one woman that could have his kids, and he could pass on his name and his family legacy, his so-called legacy. Or when religion came along, it was about the holy union of two people being together till death do us part. But I'll tell you for free that some of your long-lost relatives are happily married and going on holiday to Benidorm every year. They are swimming in the polyamory pool. You think Jacqueline is happy with fat Uncle Bob? No, she's having a good old time down at the bingo hall. But you don't know about it because it's their business. Monogamy has always been a contract. It was a means of creating wealth. It was never about romance. It's not a rom-com. It's not Love Actually and The Holiday and all of them things there. It's about wealth. And traditionally, we've been programmed to think that one person is for life, and it is the only way to be good or to be safe. But newsflash, honey, if you didn't listen to the previous episode, the good girl era is over, and the new rules are being written. You are listening and watching the AM to PM podcast hosted by Anne-Marie Descartes, and today it is sponsored by me, Anne-Marie Descartes. Yes, if you want to support a local broadcaster trying to make it out the hood, make sure to give this episode a thumbs up, a big old like. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're listening on streaming platforms, give it a follow and a 5-star review. If you'd like to be in a more committed arrangement with me, you can follow me on my socials or become a member on my Substack, where you receive bonus episodes of the podcast with a little more juice and a little more squeeze. I know how you like it. Now let's clear the air on the misconceptions on practicing E&M. A lot of people seem to think that it is a way to cheat. It's an excuse to cheat. It's a way to just be non-committal and have your own cake and eat it. If somebody's going to cheat, they're going to cheat. If someone's dishonest, they're going to be dishonest. Ethical non-monogamy is built on radical honesty. If you are going to embark on a polyamorous journey, it requires a lot of commitment, because you have to be honest. There are multiple people involved. There are multiple feelings, multiple expectations. And you have to be the type of person that can empathize with one person. You can have a conversation, be truthful, be honest, and hold space for people. Hold space for everyone in the dynamic, as well as yourself. People who are serial cheaters, people who are selfish, people who are dishonest, they don't see it that way. They just see it as getting what they want, and they don't think about the collateral outside of that.
Hello, Anne-Marie from the future here. Just as I was editing this episode, the news broke that Megan Thee Stallion and Klay Thompson have split up. And based on what she's put on her story, he was cheating, and he's now saying that he doesn't know if he can be monogamous. And this ties in nicely. As much as I'm not rooting for Meg's downfall, I am a hot girl. And I ride for Megan. And that little lanky, light-skinned man is going to get what's coming to him. But that's not the point. What I'm trying to say is that non-monogamy gets such a bad reputation because of things like this. People try to be monogamous or enter into monogamous dynamics knowing that they have thoughts of potentially not being monogamous. And this is why it's so important to have conversations. This is why it's so important to know yourself and take time to work with yourself and figure out what exactly it is that you want and what you need in a relationship, so you can be honest with the person that you love, and don't have them coming around your family cooking Thanksgiving dinner. Don't have them naming your boat SS Stallion, knowing that you're not trying to be all about SS Stallion. I'm so annoyed by this. If you want to practice non-monogamy, it is okay. Just be honest about it. Just be real about it. Because this is the type of damage that it has when you are not honest with yourself and you're not honest with the people around you. I'll leave it as that.
Being poly actually requires a lot more commitment than you think, because you're not managing one set of feelings. You're managing a whole spreadsheet of emotions. Not a game. It's not for the weak. If you are someone who doesn't even text back to your bestie on a regular day, just count yourself out of this. If you're somebody who crumbles at confrontation, this might not be for you. Now, the golden rule of practicing non-monogamy is consent. None of this works without an enthusiastic consent. And by enthusiastic, it has to be a hell yes or a hell no. If it's a hell yes, a person is excited, that person is ready to go, that person is, yeah, let's get stuck in, dude. I don't know what accent that was. If it's a hell no, if it's a unanimous, oh no, I don't feel good about that, then that is them withdrawing their consent. For those who do not understand what that means. Did you see the reel last week of this girl? She was having a conversation with her man, hopefully her ex-man. He was trying to convince her to open up their relationship after she caught him cheating on her with some next gal.
Like a poly, like we all come together as one, you know?
Are you dumb?
No, I'm not stupid nor dumb. I just feel like, you know, something should happen, something should change. I don't feel like she's getting evicted. What do you want? What do you think?
How old is that bitch? How old is she? How old is she?
Does that
She's a grown-ass woman, right?
Does that matter?
She's a grown-ass woman, right?
She's pregnant.
So why the f do you feel like that grown-ass bitch need to come in my crib? You cheat on me with that bitch. Are you that dumb? Like, no, let's be for real. You that dumb?
That's coercion, my friend. That is not how this works. This is not the kind of non-monogamy we're talking about over here. That's just cheating and lying and scheming. That's just Eddie Guerrero lying, cheating and stealing. We don't do that over here. There are tons of situations where one party wants to open up the marriage after there's been a period of drought or there's been infidelity, and it never works out. Why? Because people are not communicating. The person who typically wants to open up the marriage has their own agenda. They want to sleep with other people without consequence. And typically, the person who gets left behind is a person who is not non-monogamous in the slightest. Is a person who values monogamy, wants to be married, wants to be with their person, and that's it. And they often get bamboozled into these situations where their values are being compromised. If someone has to convince their partner to open up the relationship, that is not ethical non-monogamy. That is just being a villain. And in this house, we don't do coerced polyamory. No. It has to be a hell yes or a hell no. So why is the year 2026 the year of the poly? Why is everyone on your TikTok feed suddenly in a throuple? Why is everyone on Reddit asking questions about open marriages? It's because we are finally realizing, and I'm gonna hold your hand, we're finally realizing that one person cannot be your everything. Yes. Typically with monogamous people, they look for this perfect partner. And we're going to do high rocks together. And we're going to be a power couple. And then we're going to have 4 kids. And then we're going to, in this financial economy, we're about to go to war. We're about to get blown up. You cannot put all your hopes and dreams in one person. Let's just be realistic. I mean, I hope we will find our partners, but you just got to understand human nature. Your soulmate, your business partner, your co-parent, your gym buddy, and your best friend, that is a lot of pressure to put on just one human being. I understand why couples are now more than ever choosing to explore polyamory, choosing to swing, choosing to practice ethical, non-monogamous ways of living, because it serves everyone so much better. And in 2026, we are reclaiming our time and we are reclaiming our pleasure. We're realizing that having it all might mean having it with more than one person. Now that you've passed the 101, let's get into my investigative research. I took my curious little mind over to the Field app, and let's say, as someone who considers themselves to be pretty open-minded, Field really opened my eyes to what is going on in these streets. 2 months ago, I declared that I wanted better dating experiences, better intimate experiences, and I wanted to challenge my own views on relationships. I had already tried Hinge, and I wasn't going to chat to no man first, or Bumble. Now, as a woman like me with particular wants and needs and desires, I could just wait to bump into an amazing man on the streets, but I have an objective and I want it now. So, as the kids are doing now, we're taking to the apps. And I jumped in head first, made my little profile, wrote a very descriptive bio, saying what I'm looking for without saying what I'm looking for. Let the games begin. As you may or may not know, I am a kink positive person and I have actively been exploring my own interests in BDSM for many years. So diving into this wasn't new for me. But what was new for me was the amount of people who were exploring E&M and the amount of men who were pursuing me as their secondary partner. And that's where things start to take a little left. Because first and foremost, do I look like a secondary partner? Don't answer that. Do you think my parents gave me 4 government names to be a secondary partner? Don't answer that. To be someone's second or third baby mom, I am still annoyed to this day that I wasted my time with that man with 2 kids. Remember from last year when I was crying over that man? What a waste. What a waste of my youth. Why did I do so much stupid shit with my time? Anyways, irrelevant information. I just had to get that off my chest. It's still very fresh in my memory. What I learned that at this point in my life, I might actually enjoy being solo poly for the time being. I realized that, me just being a single hot girl flirtatious woman, going on multiple dates a week, having multiple connections as a single person makes me solo poly. And I'm okay with that. I am finding that I am having a lot more open conversations around pleasure and relationships dynamics and being very upfront and open about what I'm looking for in a dynamic, what I'm looking for in a partner, setting hard boundaries more than I could have ever done in a traditional monogamous dynamic. Because people on field are already adventurous, are already non-monogamous in some capacity. So they know that you are going to be the same in some way. I've gone on some great dates with some men who I will never see again, but I have learned a lot from their perspective, and that's challenged my mindset and made me feel a lot more comfortable pursuing a non-traditional type of relationship. What I don't enjoy is engaging with someone who is already tied to somebody else. Unless that man can make some financial investments over here, unless he can elevate my life in some capacity more than I can do for myself, I have no desire to be a metamor or to be a secondary partner. I just think my ego is too big for that. Or maybe my ego is a bit too fragile for that. And I have had encounters, and out of the dates that I've been on, I would say a good 40% of them were with men who were practicing E&M. And I just didn't like the idea of you being taken out on these lavish dates, having these romantic experiences, but there is somebody else at home. I don't know. There's something about that doesn't feel good to me. And I'm not the bit on the side. I'm not the mistress for free. Definitely not for free. I could be the mistress for a check, but if you're just trying to have funsies because your wife is on holiday, not my bad. Now, I say all that to say this. I do want a life partner, and I do see myself living a pretty much heteronormative, traditional relationship, quote unquote, with my person. But as I'm getting older, I know that I might be open to swinging. I might want to have partners outside of my marriage to possibly just do things with. And it doesn't have to be sexual things. It could be someone that's also interested in shibari that I can go to shibari class with if my husband is not into that. Or maybe we'd want to bring a third into our relationship. All of these things are hypothetical until I have lived that experience. But all I can say for now is that I am enjoying where I'm at in life. I am way more open-minded and less judgmental than I was 2-3 months ago. I am enjoying my dating life so much more because I am no longer operating from a monogamous mindset. I am not dating to marry this person. I am dating to grow. I'm dating to learn, to explore, to experience, and to understand a little bit more about what's going on in the world. Ultimately, so I can get the tea and I can feed it to you and we can have a kiki over here. You know I got you. So how do we actually navigate practicing AM? Well, these are the AM to PM rules. Rule number 1, you need to check your ego and leave it at the door. Jealousy is a normal feeling if your partner is having other experiences outside of you, but majority of the time you have to just kind of take yourself out of the equation. Majority of the time it isn't about you. It's about making space for your partner to live a full life just as much as you would want to. Rule number 2, communication over communication. Clear communication is a baseline. It's the standard. If you hate talking about your feelings, if you hate having deep discussions, if you don't know what you want, this might not be for you. You might just need to stay on Hinge. You might just need to go to christianmingle.com or christiandating.com, whatever, the plenty of fish.com, and find a traditional person to be in a traditional relationship with. If anything that I've said in this episode isn't resonating with you, I'm sorry. This might just not be for you. And rule number 3, safe sex is the luxury. It is the standard. Make sure you are protecting yourself. Sexual wellness is the literal foundation of this lifestyle. You've got to have strong boundaries and a clear view on what works for you, and also making sure you're protecting and checking up on yourself regularly. Now it's time for the confession booth. Every week you submit your dilemmas and your cheeky confessions to me, a random person on the internet with no psychological qualifications, but has a lot of psychological life experiences and is here to steer you back on the right path of life. Let's get stuck in, shall we? Hi Anna. My boyfriend has asked me for a hall pass because our sex drives are incompatible. Our relationship is perfect otherwise, but I just don't want to have sex as much as he does. I'm scared I'll give it to him and he will enjoy sleeping with other people and that will end our relationship. Is our relationship doomed? Thank you for your confession. That is a tricky one. You know what? This might be a hot take, but props to him for coming to you and asking for that hall pass. Because when a man is in love, he can be patient. He will go to the ends of the earth for you. And it sounds like you guys have been trying to make your sex life work, but he is up here and you are down here. And unfortunately, that can be very, very detrimental to the relationship. So it's great that you guys are communicating and you're having honest conversations about what you want. But I need a little bit more information about how you two are communicating and how you two are meeting in the middle. Is it a thing with you where is your sex drive reduced because of stress? Is it hormones? Is it, your mental state? Have you figured out what is going on with you internally? I remember when I used to take the pill contraception, I had no sex drive when I was on the pill. And then I switched to the implant and my sex drive improved. Now that I have no contraception, this is the best and the healthiest that I've ever felt in my life. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling you what to do. But is there something that you're taking that has a side effect that is contributing to how you feel? Or is it a thing where you two are not communicating? Are you not dating? Do you not feel aroused by him? Maybe you should sit down and talk about the ways in which you can re-engage with each other in a non-pressured way, because this might feel stressful for you because you know that you can't perform in the way that he wants to, and he knows that he's not gonna get what he fully desires. So is there a way that you can meet in the middle? Really be real with each other and have these hard-on conversations and try to see if there's a way which you can introduce intimacy through touch, through talking, through going on date nights that might make you want to open up a little bit more. If that doesn't work, then you have to be really real with yourself. If you can handle the knowing that your partner is sleeping with other people or seeking to sleep with other people because he's dissatisfied at home. Going back to today's topic, being able to be non-monogamous is recognizing that the partner that you're with is a fully fledged human and they have wants and needs and desires, and they might love you and receive their wants and needs and desires from you in one way, but should they restrict themselves from having other experiences because because you can't deliver that? These are some serious questions that you need to ask yourself before you delve into a situation like this, where ultimately, once the damage is done, it's done. Question number 2. Hello. I'm interested in exploring more with the third in our dynamic. My fiance, female, and I, male, have recently invited her male party friend into our bedroom, and I've never been this turned on by a man before. Sounds like heated rivalry. He is in really good shape, good looking, and I love watching him get with her. At first I felt jealous, but now I'm really turned on by him and secretly watch him on TikTok. Am I breaking the rules? This is a hot one. Yes, we got heated rivalry at home, everybody. Thank you for your submission. Now I wouldn't say that you're breaking the rules, because I don't feel like this was a rule that was set in the first place. I don't believe that you or your fiance expected you to feel attracted to the third. From what you're saying, I feel like maybe you're a straight male, but now you're bi-curious, and it took this gentleman to bring that side out of you. I like it. Again, communication is key. You need to talk to your fiance about how you're feeling, and if she was willing to bring the person into the bedroom for her own pleasure, I'm sure she'd be open for you to bring him in for your pleasure too. You both sound open-minded enough to even allow a third party into your bedroom. So well done for that. But you might need to have a conversation with the fiance and be like, I am having these feelings. It's very hot over here. I like seeing him. I like seeing what he's doing to you, and I want him to do it to me too. That's kind of hot. Your fiance sounds like the kind of person who already has the right mindset, who would be open to letting you explore that, or at least having a conversation about that. Now, what you don't want to do is get obsessive. You said that you're watching him on TikTok. You're fueling the fire. You're fueling the desire. Let's slow it down. Slow it down just a tad. Make sure you're having those conversations first. Or maybe you're not bi. Maybe you're just a cuck or a voyeur. And all of these feelings are coming in and out of you. It's not wrong. You're not breaking no rules. It's okay to feel that way. Make sure you're having a conversation with your fiance though. I think it becomes breaking the rules if you were to message said third outside of the agreed dynamic and try to see him on the side, or have a start relationship with him on the side. That's what's breaking. That would be breaking the rules. In the meantime, reduce the stalking on social media. Grab the fiance, have the chat, and then take it from there. Because if you're enjoying it, then maybe this could be the start of something new. This could be the start of something new. This could be the start of something special for you. I think honesty is always the best policy, so just keep that in mind, okay? You got this. Okay, my lovelies, that was another episode of AM to PM. Thank you for making it this far. And if you loved the episode, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a subscribe, hit that notification ding ding bell so you're notified every time I'm uploaded. I'm changing the schedule from Thursday uploads to Tuesday uploads, and bonus episodes on the Substack will come out on Sundays. Works better for me, works better for everyone. So from this week onwards, every Tuesday you got a new episode from me. Right. Make sure you follow me on the gram. We're on the road to 10K on YouTube. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Love ya.